Give me 1 second and I'll tell you if it's working.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. My cat is going to the vet on Tuesday, but she started hiding under the bed and no longer showing interest in food.
Oh.
So it's bad.
Yeah.
And it was just like today. That happened like an hour ago. So. Well, she already had a vet appointment though for Tuesday, so that's good. It was her checkup, but.
Poor baby. Hopefully she's just having an off day.
I'm hoping she just pulled a muscle or something and is acting weird about it. I'm hoping it's, but she's 12, so I'm trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't see anyone subtitles yet.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I don't know if I did the subtitles correctly. So.
Can you see them on
right
your
way.
browser? 1 second. I'll just go
don't.
through and sort these links out. 1 second.
I can see mine.
You can see. Right, hold on. Boop. Okay, I can see Nate's now.
Yay, we're good. Hello, friends, and welcome to the Initiative Order, and welcome back to Symbaroum. My name is Nate Ridenauer. I will be your GM for this journey today. Let's go ahead and meet my two lovely players for today's session. Let's go ahead and start off with Kelsey, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey and I play the witch Kinlegelana.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And we'll throw it over to Coral.
Hi, my name's Coral, and I am playing Agithe, who is our potions master and shopkeeper.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And you can probably tell we are missing a few players this evening. Unfortunately, they're all off busy with other life things going on. So to all them out there, hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, resting up, doing what you got to do to take care of yourselves. With that, let's go ahead and dive back into the world of Symbaroum. And welcome back. So before we dive right in, just a quick recap of things that happened last time. The group of adventurers here, you were following a lead in interviewing some of the veterans from the Great War from before in hopes of trying to quell the tension between the church and an individual known as Father Sarvola, who is seen as kind of this heretic by the heads of the Church of Prios. One of the heads had advised you to speak to some of the veterans of the Great War, as they hold a lot of influence in Thistlehold, to see if they could give you any type of insight or information as to a way to kind of curb the tensions that were happening here. Upon going to one of the veterans' homes, Keen, you attempted to persuade him to ease up. Unfortunately, your discussions went nowhere quickly, as you could see him quickly losing patience in what you were talking to him about. And you kind of regrouped with your gang and kind of went off on a bit of a tangent on this guy, which was absolutely so phenomenal to watch. From there, the group kind of continued looking for other leads, and Keen, you had found a note on your person. Not sure where it came from, but you opened it up saying that there were some items in a small side chamber at the Sun Temple. And detailed in this note were when that area would be vacated for the morning services, where you could potentially sneak in and get what you needed from that room. So the group went over to the Sun Temple, investigating into that room, almost getting caught as one of you was disguised as one of the individuals who was going to be leading the mass that morning. But luckily, you were able to kind of talk your way around that. Aggie and Kovaan kind of putting on a display out in the courtyard, sharing their love, where Kovaan then faked a heart attack to kind of draw some attention away from that area. Keen, you made your way into that room where you found some crayon scribbles, a leather-bound book, as well as a kind of a nondescript key kind of buried in this area. Aside from that, you found a lot of what appeared to be femme-presenting clothing, smaller stature, and you kind of took some of the items that you had found, escaping from the Sun Temple, and the group has decided to make their way back to the Rose Garden Inn, where you are currently staying at, to kind of get together, collect your thoughts. And so that is where I will start the two of you. You enter into kind of the main lobby of the Rose Garden Inn. Kovaan is kind of shuffling along next to you. You can definitely hear his bones and joints kind of popping and creaking in areas as he kind of just excuses himself, and he begins heading up the staircase towards his room, as it appears he is going to be getting some rest in at this time. The two of you down in the lobby. Actions for the two of you.
Well, I definitely helped Kovaan up to his room, especially after pretending to be his wife. Yeah, I'm gonna help Kovaan up, make sure that he's all taken care of, and then come back down to the lobby. And yeah, I'm just gonna shuffle on up myself. And where are you sitting, Keen?
I'm gesturing towards my room.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I don't even get off of the staircase, and we're usually don't like doing this many stairs in a day.
So the whole time we were walking back, you kind of saw Keen in the corner of your eye, like sewing something with like that yarn that she had dyed using bunny blood from that dead bunny she saw on the road. And as soon as you get in, you close the door. Keen like kind of like takes this big blanket tapestry and like kind of pins it up on the wall. And it kind of looks like one of like those red yarn like serial killer sort of like articles everywhere. But like more of a like symbols instead of articles. Okay. So we have some information. And I'm also going to pull out the key, and I'm going to kind of like pin it to like one part of the tapestry. So I have no idea what we do with that. However, we know that this had something to do with Nadia, and I found these, and now I'm like putting all those pictures on the wall, and just to like help your memory in case you're a little fuzzy. One of them has a stone well. One of them has dozens of individuals standing around the well wearing like similar cloaks. And then one of them was a half-finished portrait of a female with elven features. And I'm going to write underneath that Tiara, Tiana, and question mark, question mark, question mark. So we have this now. And let me tell you what. I have no idea what this key does, but it has to have something to do with whatever weird rituals were used in killing that god, in creating the sinkhole. Do we know anything about this well? Is this the well that started the sinkhole? What are your thoughts?
Well, first things first is I'm gonna take a really close look at the pictures of the well. Does it look like are they all from the exact same vantage point with the same framing?
Yeah, it looks like somebody's almost looking like they're standing up above, looking down, almost like they're getting a vantage point from up above, looking down at these individuals.
Cool.
And all these individuals, though, very similar size, all their features kind of shadowed out, wearing very similar cloaks, as Keen said, just standing in a circle around this large stone well.
And so the first image of the well, if you were to like, I'm thinking like, when people like go back to like the place where they took this photo and put the photo up to it and like see how it stayed the same or changed or whatever. I am wondering if we can like layer that third unfinished photo on, or third unfinished picture on top of the first picture of the well and see if it looks complete or looks more complete.
Gotcha. So you kind of hold up this hand-drawn scribble of this half-finished individual. As you kind of like trying to angle it in different directions around this well piece, they're not really lining up at all. It looks like these are two completely separate images.
Is there any way that? Oh, sorry, you first.
Well, yeah. So upon this discovery, I'm kind of looking at it, and I'm just thinking like the setting, the cause, and perhaps the solution. But I don't know.
Interesting. And while Aggie is doing that, is there any way that while she's sort of manipulating the drawing of like the half-finished features, is there any way that it comes off to me that it looks like a changeling?
Looking at this individual, especially with you being a changeling yourself, you're not seeing any features that would indicate this person is a changeling. They look to be pure elven.
You might be onto something. Do you think it is Tierra Tiana? Do we know anything about a Tierra Tiana? Remember, the name sounds elvish. Do you remember when we heard that name?
Oh, I mean, I'm not going to lie. In my age, I've become names. We've met a lot of people in a very short period of time.
Well, we do have one potential solution. What if we try and make our own drawing very similar to this face so we can keep the original, and we go to the library, probably run by the Ordo Magica, and we see if anyone seems to think it's familiar? Do you think that would help? And maybe we should be prepared in advance to not only have a story of what we're looking for, while also knowing the things we're actually looking for.
Oh, of course, it's always good to have an alibi. I do want to also, if we can, if it's not too dangerous, I want to see if I want to do our best to confirm that this well is the well in the center of town. I mean, honestly, it seems fairly obvious, but I don't like to make assumptions.
Well, what if it's not from the center of town? What if it's from somewhere deep in the wood?
That would be very interesting. Because looking at this second image, my instinct is that this group of people caused the sinkhole. Being that this is, it looks similar, that's where the sinkhole started, it all makes sense to be put together, but if that's true, then that throws, could they have started the sinkhole from far away? Are they the ones who even started it? How will we get out to the wood?
Do you remember the abomination that we met in the basement of the church? The one who said that they were in a group and they killed a god and that everyone started stabbing it with knives?
Yeah.
It has to be connected somehow, and I don't know how, and I'm like making a trail of like string from one thing to the other, but somehow it is.
Should we go back and speak with them? Are they even still alive? I don't remember what the church was going to do with them.
I don't think the church intended to do much of anything. Maybe just kill him off when they thought that he was finally a full abomination. You know, not looking for any sort of actual cure, just pretending like they care until finally the excuse is there.
Well, of course, I've seen it too many times.
Well, let's come up with a concrete plan and know our clear objectives. We know we want to figure out where this key goes, objective 1.
Yes.
This key is going to take us somewhere very important. No indication really of where it goes, though, so that's great.
I will say, in the time that you've spent here in Thistlehold, as you've been here for quite a few days at this point, you would be aware of a almost like essentially like a records house that keeps records of all the property from Thistlehold, known as the Queen's Legation. And you know this because it sits right across the street from Mayor Knight Pitch's home.
Oh, cool. Makes sense.
Well, I think I just had an epiphany, Aggie. Did you know, in this town, I think there was a place. Was it called the Queen's Libation? No, not Libations. I'm sorry. You and Kovaan going out so frequently has kind of started to make me expect different things. But
look, the
libation,
Queen's Libations, I would definitely go there. I would go there right after we went to the Hangman's Pole.
But I believe it was more like the Queen's Libation, the Crown's Libations, litigations, ligations. It's something. But I remember it. Do you remember? Right across from Mayor Knight Pitches.
Yes, I think we had the exact same big brain moment because they absolutely say big brain moment in this whole now. It's canon.
Yes. Perhaps we can name this tapestry Big Brain Moment. What do you think?
That is wonderful. Absolutely.
And its nickname will be the Epiphany.
And I do have a quick question. This tapestry, did you sew this yourself?
Well, yes and no. I did indeed sew this myself, but as you can imagine, the powers that be can guide my fingers.
Sewing it with a little bit of guidance.
Yes, and I've learned recently, and I just kind of do this thing with my hand. There are some more powers I have now, Aggie. You know, in case we end up finding any foes.
Oh.
In weaving this tapestry, and in doing some studies, yes, I have come to learn more magic that could potentially harm our opponents in battle.
Well, I'm excited to see it. I hope we don't need to use it. I hope we are only brought to that as infrequently as possible. But I'm glad that we will be prepared.
Yes, perhaps this will allow us to have a nice day away without Nrobso's strength, without Kovan's dexterous tangling weeds, without, unfortunately, Laerke's protection, which I do enjoy Laerke's protection, but I think we'll be safe.
Yes. Oh, I do hope Laerke is doing well. I know she had important things to attend to, however, so I trust her to take care of herself and.
Now, there is one thing I would suggest. If we don't find everything we want in the records house, I suggest that we go back and we seek out our connection at the Church of Prios, and we ask her if she recognizes the key. If we can't figure out what it does, maybe we should just ask. Sometimes I think that we forget to ask our resources, questions that might be helpful.
I do worry. I trust very few people in this town with such sensitive information. I don't want people asking, especially considering we got this key from the church. I don't want people I don't want people to know that we have this. And also, why is this key our first priority? I'm
Well,
not saying it's wrong, but
to be quite frank, we have no other leads. We are in a position where we've been in Thistlehold for quite some time, and I'm worried that whatever evil lurks below might be moving much faster than we are. Perhaps the key means nothing, but Muffin, all of Muffin's infinite wisdom, seemed to think it was important.
I dare not disagree with Muffin. I will say I believe that us confirming the location of this, and I point to the image of the well, and us discovering the identity of this person should definitely be high on our priority list as well. Especially if our current running theory is that this person, because you said this image is like nice, flowy, angelic, like peaceful. Like, can you describe that image for me again, if you don't mind?
Oh yeah, no, not at all. So what you have is essentially a crayon sketched out portrait of what appears to be the right half of this individual's face. Her eyes, very deep, piercing green, almost like a slight grin coming across her face. Her skin looks very, very pale, but you can see that her ear comes to a very, very sharp point. You can just see this beautiful, long, blonde hair that just hangs ever so gently, flowing off the page.
Cool. All right. Well then, may or may not be the solution. I don't know. Okay, cool. All right, cool. And also, just because somebody's pretty doesn't mean they're good.
But don't you remember Tierra Tiana, the poem? Do you remember the poem?
Oh goodness.
To meet her in the location. Do you want me to try and find it within my notes? And she's already like pulling out her big giant leather like thick tome that could probably break someone's like shin.
Yes. So I am opening up my notebook as well. My notebook is also nicknamed Disquad.
So remember, when the corpse of Anadia, the same person whose room I found the key in, her corpse was examined by Marvelo, and the poem said, "Friend in strife and sorrow, this offer is the only one you will receive. Decline and mourn alone. Accept and follow my confidant. We will meet where no tear falls in vain. I am waiting. You are needed."
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And we had a discussion about what we thought it meant. We will meet where no tear falls in vain. And there was a lot of back and forth, and there was no resolution. People are very stubborn in this group, let me tell you. But again, I believe we are taking a lot of time, and I would like to maximize our efficiency. And if we even manage to get a little bit of money along the way, Nrobso will be fine with it.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, in that case, I still believe that no tear falls in vain in a graveyard. Everybody has the right to cry there. I've heard of, the concept of therapy in other holds, but it seems to not have caught on in Thistlehold, so.
Few things have caught on in Thistlehold, except
Yes.
bigotry and murder.
Yes, and the tension that you can cut with a butter knife.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, do you believe that this is the correct location? I am interested in following this lead.
Well, we can also
Especially
look this up when we go to the Queen's Ligations? I'm still a little bit unsure of the exact wording for it.
We'll look at the sign once we get there.
Yeah, we'll look at the sign. Maybe it'll be in, I once was in this delightful library, and I was learning things from this one coven member of, I believe that they specialized in ancient runic forms, and I heard about this incredible thing called Comic Sans. Do you think perhaps we'll find that type of writing anywhere in Thistlehold? I would love to see it. It's very academic.
One can only hope.
Indeed. Well, let us go. And
Yes.
just to be clear, what is our story going to be if someone asks why we are poking around?
Oh, I mean, if we are going to the place where there's a history of property records, well, we can always just say that we've been enjoying our time here so much, and we're looking to purchase property. I own a shop. We can always say that we are attempting to relocate out of the back of a car.
Very well, a likely excuse. Though, and I kind of look out the window. I don't know that I'd ever want to live in Thistlehold.
I completely agree. And honestly, I completely agree with you. I do believe that we've taking a while. I'm a bit rusty. I've been living a much slower life in my older age, but we do need to pick up the pace.
Very well. While we're on our day adventure, we should have a fun phrase between us. How about for Comic Sans?
For Comic Sans.
Excellent. And I do the cloak flourish as I head towards the door, and I'm folding out my tapestry and tucking it away as it's going on.
I love this. Yeah, Aggie's just going to just okay. And she's going to do not a full cloak flourish, but she's definitely going to give a nice little and hobble her way out.
Two of you making your way out, passing by the pile of rags, which Nrobso is still curled up on and just snoring away. You can see him as he's kind of flailing his arms, almost like he's having a bit of a dream. Yes, Keen?
May I please make sure he is fully tucked in?
Yes, you can certainly take some time to tuck in your little goblin companion.
I feel I also take out a pelt of raccoon fur, and I kind of put it around the top just to be extra warm.
Oh.
And as you do this, you see Nrobso kind of slow down in his movement, and a little grin kind of shines across his face. But the two of you exiting out.
Hibernation is going well.
The two of you heading straight to the Queen's Legation, or is there anywhere else you would like to go on the way?
Is there anywhere else you would like to go on the way? It just occurred to me for no apparent reason.
Oh, I mean, I still do believe that we, I think we should put at the top of our priorities list this note from Tiana.
Well, yes, I agree, yes.
So I do wonder if we should go where we think that mentions first.
Yes, well, do we also want to look in records for Tiana? I doubt for some reason that this person lived here.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's an elf after all, my dear, and we know how elves sort of have tensions and strained relationships with most of humankind.
Yes, of course. Oh, goodness. I mean, the only thing is I do worry it's been so long since we've received this note. I've completely forgotten about it until you just reminded me. So I just don't want her to think that we have rejected her offer.
I don't believe the offer was for us. But I do think we need to find her to know what the deal was with her and Anadia.
This is fair.
If it's a she, could be a he, could be a they, could be a non-existent ghost. Maybe some ghosts from her past. Who knows? But I'm having a good day. It's nice. It's a nice girls' day on the town.
Yes, I am excited. We'll have a nice little bit of productive sessions, and then afterwards, at the end of the evening, I'll take you to our new favorite bar.
Oh, I don't know if bar hopping is really my specialty.
Oh no hopping, just sitting at the one bar and talking to the very nice bartender while watching all of the other boys dance.
But
it's very nice.
Do you remember what I said earlier about time constraints and end of the world and big giant circle hole and big snake
What else
saw
are we
slithering
going
below?
to be doing this evening? We need to. Okay, yeah. Off to the Queen's litigation, libation situation. La 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 la.
Okay. Making your way over towards the Queen's legation.
Making our way downtown, walking
kinda just-
fast.
Walking fast
faces.
because Kovan's not here today.
Yeah.
You're moving at double the speed somehow.
Woo!
Making your way towards the southeastern part of town. You see the large, familiar fenced-off yard and a massive domain that does belong to Mayor Night Pitch. And right across the street from his central little walkway / driveway, if you will, going to his home, you do see a large wooden building with stores currently open. And as you kind of peer into this building, it looks like as you step in, it's a wooden staircase heading down underground. And hanging above this building is a sign that does say the Queen's Legation.
Legation, that was it. Legation.
Legation.
I'm afraid, though, that font is much less Comic Sans. Do you think that they take a suggestion?
You've seen how much of a stick in the mud these people are. I don't know if they're very interested in anything comic.
Well, let's not judge these particular ones until we've met them. For all we know, they could be goblins working below. We've had good experiences with goblin allies before.
This is true. This is true.
And I'm going to start making my way down the staircase.
Okay, making your way down. Luckily, as you're kind of walking your way down here, you see just kind of torches just affixed to the walls, giving off enough lighting and warmth as you're making your way underneath this building here. Aggie, do you follow?
I follow, and I remain incredibly cautious of the torches.
Okay, making your way down.
That's called trauma.
Totally fair. Totally fair. As you're kind of walking through, the heat of the torches almost spark a bit of a memory in you from not that long ago, but luckily you're able to kind of stave it off and kind of stay more centered in the staircase as you're walking
Which is
down.
difficult for Aggie because she does need handrails or some sort of assistance. So Aggie is going down this staircase very slowly.
No worries, no worries. Taking your time with each step, you shuffle your way down to the bottom. And once you reach the bottom, you see another set of very large double wooden doors that are currently pushed open. And you enter into what looks like this large rectangular basement type room. And just all along these walls, and you just see aisles and aisles of what look like filing cabinets. All just built out of just a simple, almost looks like a simple hardwood. and they just go on and on for as long as your eyes can see. And as you enter into this room, you see a desk situated over to the right-hand side with two Ambrian individuals situated behind it. One looks like a middle-aged woman, the other an older gentleman standing back there. And they both kind of look up as they see the two of you enter and hit the bottom of the staircase walking in. Good day.
Sir.
How are you?
Doing very well, thank you. May I ask what brings you into our into the Queen's legation today?
Well,
Are you just after general research or something a bit more specific today?
Well, we're more general at this point, but you see, we are somewhat recently new to town, and we've been enjoying ourselves, and I'm a shopkeeper, so I'm just looking to browse around, see what about the, the pricing of property is around here, try to get a better idea of maybe some neighbors that I might have, anything along those lines.
I see. So you're looking for available properties then?
Well, and also, if possible, being close to a water source, due to my upbringing, it's very important to me to feel some security in where my water is coming from. So if we could find maybe properties, near wells in town, that would be incredibly helpful. And as you can see, I'm a little on the scrawnier side, and I do try to carry water to the best of my ability, but I would hate to trip over children in the street going long distances with water pails.
Yes,
certainly.
As you can also tell, I'm not much better.
Well, unfortunately, we lost one of our wells to the event that happened a few days back. But we do have some other wells set up around the town. We've got one over in the Queen Square. That one's not as used. Unfortunately, the Toad Square was our most popular, but that one now belongs to the Earth, apparently. Okay, let me go ahead and see what properties we have available over there. Now, if the two of you are interested in doing your own general type research as well, the left side of the legation is open to the public. It will cost $1 though for an hour's worth of researching in here.
Absolutely, of course. And I'm going to put the thaler on the table.
Excellent. Thank you very much. You have 1 hour to that side of the room. Anything on this side over here, gesturing towards the right side, you can see that these drawers all have very large padlocks on them. These are more of the sealed private property records. If you need access to those, that will be a bit of an extra cost, and we can see what we can pull from those for you.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Just out of curiosity, why would a record become sealed?
Some of these records, some of them are abandoned estates, some of them are lost property we're waiting on families of individuals next of kin to come and claim some of these records over here. After a certain amount of time, they do become available to the public. But there's that waiting period, of course, until we can notify any surviving family.
Understood.
Understood.
Thank you so much for all of your help.
Of course. Will you be researching as well, miss?
Oh, yes. I'm so sorry. I thought the thaler was for the both of us. Yes,
Apologies. It is a thaler per person in here. Of course, we got to pay our record keepers.
I was not trying to shortchange you. I just an old age moment, and I go ahead and slap it down on the table.
Appreciate it. You have an hour.
I do have a question quickly. You see, I am a bit of a historian. I'm very interested in old records. Is there anything particularly interesting over there I could, buy my way into looking at? Since you mentioned that it is potentially available for a price? Maybe newly abandoned properties in the past year, estates.
Is there a particular family name you're after? A particular individual? I can't just start popping open cabinets and have you start digging through every family that we have records of here.
Absolutely. That is perfectly understandable, sir. How about we just do some general research and then we'll figure out more of an area that we're sort of interested in, and then I will do a little bit more research to see if I need any of those.
Very well. Well, we will be here if you have any questions. Just go ahead and ask. My name is Carasto, and this here is Perella.
Thank you, Carasto. And was it Perella?
Perella, yes.
Gosh, those are such very beautiful names.
If you need more time, just come back to the counter. Perella or myself, we will come fetch you once your hour is up. But again, if you do require more time, one Thaler will buy you another hour down here.
Excellent,
Wonderful.
thank you.
First things first, can I make a roll? Because that's what we do during TTRPGs, right?
Absolutely. Are you looking for anything specific, or are you just kind of starting to pull through some records?
I am looking for Tiratiana.
Okay.
With a cunning check, or hopefully.
Perfect. Give me a cunning roll.
Hell yeah, that's an 8 out of 15.
An 8 out of 15. Okay.
Do you remember if I am having a bad day today or not?
I think you were. You have not rested since.
I mean, they're
Your last
low-key
roll.
offensive because you're hanging out with me, but okay.
Because you had your
sorry,
bad
I'm
roll on the day you had stew with Kovaan. That was that day, and this is still a continuation of that day. So you have not rested since then.
Wow. So yeah, Aggie's at that age where a hangover lasts a long time. So that's still an 8 out of 14.
Perfect. No worries. So you kind of begin looking at some of the labels on the cabinets. These don't have the names of individuals, obviously, on every single drawer, but you do find some cabinets labeled Davokar, which you would know that the elves do tend to stay to the woods. And so you kind of get the feeling that might be the best place to start. Aside from that, you do see cabinets about the history of Thistlehold. You see cabinets regarding Yndaros. You see one labeled Glimmervan. You even see one labeled Karabadox, which you know to be Nrobso's home. So if you want to start with Davokar, you can certainly pop that cabinet open and begin looking through some of those records if you wish.
Agithe.
Yes.
Perhaps we should split and conquer. What kind of information do you want to concern yourself with? Are you taking TT, or are you taking locations of wells, maybe the history of wells in the area?
I will take TT.
Okay, but please remember, because I grew up with elves, you should ask me any questions that you don't know about that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm gonna go and start looking at the files for like the history of the wells, especially the one in Toad Square.
Yeah.
Okay, so you kind of make your way over towards some of the cabinets labeled with Thistlehold. Go ahead and give me a cunning check as well, Keen.
Okay, that is a 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10. Excellent, excellent. Okay, you begin pulling some of the records out from Thistlehold. Aggie, as you kind of take some of these Devacar files and you kind of walk over to what appears to be like a small open desk, you begin laying them out and flipping through. You see, the first things that you begin to kind of see are just a very brief knowledge on what the Ambrians know of Devacar. Being from this kind of from the area of Ambria yourself, you know that not a lot of people venture out into those forests, and those who do don't go very far, just because of the dangers that lie within. You do see some records on past treasure hunts that have taken place. You see mention of the Iron Pact, which was the deal struck between the elves and the Ambrians. You kind of see a brief history of the 1,000 iron rings that were forged and given out to the Ambrians as a way of basically almost like an agreement between them, saying the elves will stick to the forest, the Ambrians will stick to their area, and they won't try to hunt each other, they won't try to kill each other. Looking through, you're not quite seeing the mention of Tiara Tiana specifically, though. You do begin to see a lot of the names of the different tribes that live on the outskirts of Davokar. You know that Laerke would belong to one of those tribes as well. And you do see a brief history on what the Amrians know of Karvasti, which is kind of where the witches had mentioned they'd come from. That record only has a basic location of Karvasti, which appears to be about a 5 days journey into Davokar from where you're currently at. And there's a couple notes on some very brief meetings that happened between the Ambrian leaders and the head Huldra of Karvasti, but nothing really of note regarding your current situation.
Cool. And then quick question, as since Aggie has like traveled extensively in her life, and especially considering things that it would make sense for her to have like had to GTFO. So would you be cool if I roll to see if I have any like any extra knowledge on like this area, or perhaps like, because I'm wondering how important this girl is.
Fair. Yeah, totally fair. With your background, given your knowledge of kind of the espionage side of things, yeah, go and give me a cunning roll to see if this is a name you've heard mentioned anywhere at all before.
Oh, that's a 4 out of 14.
4 out of 14. In all your years, you've obviously come across quite a few notable individuals. A lot of your past experiences, though, have dealt exclusively with Ambrian individuals, never with elves. Keen, as you're taking out the files from Thistlehold, you begin searching through, kind of looking specifically at the Toad Square area. And as you're kind of flipping through, you get a brief history on Thistlehold, seeing that it's one of the newer settlements of Ambria, only being around for maybe a decade at this point. And seeing that it was built by the goblins of Karabadox. You even see the mention of one goblin individual named Nrobso, who was one of the head lumberjack overseers, who helped chop down some of the lumber from Davokar, using it to build the large palisade around Thistlehold.
Our boy.
And as you're kind of flipping through, you get to the area of the Toad Square, and you see a brief history on when that portion of the of Thistlehold was completed. That area was built probably about 8 years ago or so, with the final piece being the large bronze toad statue with the bell around its neck that was built there. You don't really see mention of any type of complications with the construction. You don't really see mention of any type of tunnels that were seen. However, as you're flipping through, one thing that you do catch is what appears to be a witness statement from 8 days ago, from an incident that happened over at the Toad Square. And as you pull that out, it reads, on the 24th day of the second month, 21 years after the victory, a brawl erupted at the salons of Symbaroum. When the brave guards of the town watch arrived to avert the quarrel, it had spread to 3 floors and involved about 100 souls. When asked why they were fighting, the combatants gave diverse answers, but most named intoxication or the heart's delight as the foremost reasons. However, a witness named Galetto, and you see in parentheses, Fortune Hunter, knows what actually caused the turmoil. With his own eyes, he saw 2 young priests involved in a violent altercation. They called each other Anadia and Arkle, and the dispute seemed to be about the forest of Davokar, more exactly about whether or not the Church of Prios has adopted a correct standpoint regarding the nature of the woods. The witness is, due to his own inebriation, unsure about who of the 2 complained, or about which of the 2 championed which viewpoint, but swears that one of them at one point clearly yelled, "Death to First Father Jessibigai." The priests never brawled, but their argument became so heated that the woman, flailing her arms, happened to hit a drinking jar that stood on their table. The jar hit a large barbarian woman in the neck, which is why she spun around and face slapped the totally innocent youngster, whose friends were quick to accept the invitation to dance. The woman Anadia and the man Arkle sneaked out of their booth as the brawl attracted more and more to clench their fists. So it was at the Forest of Davokar, on the evening of the 24th, caused Queen Corinthia's subjects unnecessary pain and honest businessmen economical loss, like so many times before. And I will send you this witness statement too in our chat, so you don't have to.
Thank you. Thank you. And just to clarify, like the name was Jessibigai was the name of the first father?
Yes, first father.
Okay.
His name is spelled Jesseebeegai.
Mm-hmm. And I can get that when you share it in the chat.
Yep.
So I'm just kind of staring at this. And Arkle was the name of the other person.
Correct. This witness says that he saw Arkle shouting and arguing with a woman named Anadia.
And does the witness statement have a name again? It does? Galetto,
yes.
the fortune hunter? That was it?
Galetto, the fortune hunter.
Okay, thank
was the
you. I just
individual
wanted to
who witnessed
clarify
this.
before I talk to Aggie. Got it.
So while you're like staring at this piece of paper, like kind of almost, I imagine, like stunned, trying to take it all in, Aggie's just gonna like hobble on up and be like, "Yeah, I got nothing. I got a nice history lesson. I did get that. I will say, I learned a lot, but nothing of relevance. Hello?
I'm just gonna silently like pass you the witness statement to look at.
And Aggie, as you're reading this witness statement, the name Jessibigai stands out to you, as it was a name mentioned with one of the barbarian clans of Davokar.
In what context?
This individual appears to be one of the higher up clansmen of one of the clans of Davokar.
Oh, this guy is a big deal.
Well,
and he was traveling with our Almora or Anadia. Excuse me.
well, I don't know that they were traveling together, but surely they had some kind of conversation together.
Interesting. Interesting. Wow. I believe this is the next person to look for.
Well, this is certainly something to consider.
I still believe that we should find Tiana.
Yes, we should. But we should also take this into consideration because this person might know who that is.
It's also fair.
Yes. What about this? I'm sure that we can figure out where this person is. Arkle, perhaps?
Well, before we actually go chasing this person down, something we need to consider is that he and Nadia were having a heated argument, and then a few days later, we found Nadia's body dead at the bottom of a sinkhole.
While that is correct, we have to remember that Nadia probably chose to engage with whatever was going on. I don't necessarily know that this person had a hand in it so much as the sinkhole was just kind of a giant ball of corrupted magic.
Just to say that he didn't, though. As I've said, I trust that.
Well, perhaps you can find this man's address in the records then.
That's a good idea.
Perhaps this man has.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and try and go to like the property records, look for this dude's name.
Okay, give me another cunning check if you would.
That's a 7 out of 14.
7 out of 14. Okay. And apologies for Arkle or Galado.
Oh, looking for the J.
Oh,
the J
just to be
guy.
good. Yes, looking for him.
That guy, the dude who was arguing with Nadia.
Arkle was the one arguing with Nadia in the witness statement.
At names.
You're good.
I am so fantastic at names.
So looking for information regarding Arkle. You kind of begin as you kind of read through the witness statement and seeing that this individual said two priests were arguing. You head over towards some of the records regarding the Church of Prios. And you begin looking through that, and it doesn't take you long before you do come across the name Arkle. And it just says current resident Sun Temple.
Cool. Then can I try to? I assume it's going to be in the same place. The high priest, the J name, right? That's the J name. The high priest.
First father, yes.
First father.
So
there we go.
Yes. You don't see any mention of him, as his name was mentioned in the Davokar files. So you assume that he is probably with the barbarian clans and not with any type of Ambrian individuals at all.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, I am going to after reading this note, I am going to be like, oh, and this guy. Right. Wait, no, I already told you that. This guy, high up priest in
Yes.
Davokar. Well, no, I said he was a big deal. But let me be more clear. This one, he is one of the leader of the barbarian clans.
Do you know which one?
Do I know which one? Davokar.
Yes, it was mentioned. Give me one moment here while I remind myself which one he is. There's like 13 barbarian
Let me
clans
just
here in this,
remember. I have to remember what Laerke said. It's been such a long time since she explained all of this to me. I'm racking my brain, flipping the pages of my memories.
Would
Yes.
the pages of your memories be any fuller than your notebook?
The pages, no. The pages of my memory are blank, girl. The pages of
he-
my memories get written and then like written over. The pages of my memory are a VHS tape where you accidentally tape over your favorite movie with like, because your little brother wanted to tape SpongeBob. Yeah.
He is from the Sarkhan clan.
The Sarkhan clan. Anyway, I can hobble back over and check out what the Sarkhan clan is. And I'm going to say, Keith, while you're in here, would you like to look for any information on Anadia?
Oh, sure. Yes, that's fine. I will.
Considering it seems like now she plays a much bigger part in this story than just being dead.
Mm-hmm. Can I go and check the padlocked archives for that to see if there's an estate like locked up for Anadia?
Yeah, you can certainly make your way over there and go ahead and give me a cunning check while you are over there.
Okay. See, that is going to be a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10. Okay, excellent. And I apologize, Aggie. I got names totally mixed up myself. Father Jessabe guy. While he was in the Davokar areas, he is actually a well-noted black cloak.
Oh!
That is currently sitting on the throne in Temple Wall. And he was one of the individuals who helped during the Great War. So he did spend quite a bit of time in Davokar, though.
But not necessarily in a good sense.
Correct.
And you said he's currently where?
Temple Wall.
Temple Wall. Okay, cool. And this is the guy that who was it? Was it Anadia was saying death to?
Either Anadia or Arkel. One of them said death to this guy.
Nobody could tell which one.
Correct.
Said it. Gotcha. Okay. Shit. Okay, that's very different. Cool. Yeah, I'm not going to look that up then. I'm instead going to look this guy up in the appropriate Temple Wall section.
Okay, perfect. Give me a cunning check as you're looking over towards history on Temple Wall.
That's where we fail. It's a 16 out of 14.
16 out of 14. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, outside of kind of seeing the location of where Temple Wall is actually located, you're not finding any specific files on this individual. Keen, make your way over toward the padlocked areas, looking for anything that might be labeled for Anadia.
Right. Like just in case. Okay, nothing. Then I'm going to go back and just kind of look, I guess, through the sections we were already in.
Okay. Go ahead and give me one more cunning check then, Keen, as you're looking over in that area.
That is an 11 out of 10.
11 out of 10. Unfortunately, you're just kind of scraping through, trying to find any other type of information. Nothing coming up.
I feel like I'm like nervously sewing. Like my tapestry is just kind of like this. I'm nervously sewing and I prick myself. Oh, inconvenient. I don't think there's anything here. I think I pricked myself. That's normally a sign.
Oh, yes. I think I found all that I need to see as well.
Very well. Is there any way I can just take one more trip over by the padlock section and see if any name at all stands out to me that I am familiar with, that is sealed?
Yeah, give me a cunning check if you would, one more time.
Oh, good lord. Okay, let's do this. All right, 6 out of 10 this time.
Walking through, really taking your time, reading over a lot of these names. Nothing jumps out, nothing looks familiar.
right.
I don't know. I think I believe that I'm good.
Very well. And I'm gonna walk up to like the desk where one of the two Ambrians is standing. Is it the woman or the male?
You see Crosto, the male, up there.
Crosto, hello, sir.
Oh, yes, finding everything okay.
Yes, I do believe that we're growing a little bit close to the end of our hour, and we do have some very pressing arrangements in town. It's okay if maybe all of the files we asked for weren't ready yet. We can always come back. Maybe if you have like a quick little rundown of some areas, we can grab that and take it on the way with us. Some of those nice homes for sale.
Yes. And he kind of hands you a small piece of parchment that just has a list of addresses written all down it.
Does it have the different districts they're in by chance?
The ones that he's given you currently are all for the Queen Square district. So the kind of the southwestern area of Thistlehold.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
You said that the locked up files have these giant padlocks on them.
Mm-hmm.
You know how you can like tell from just looking at a keyhole if a key will be able to fit or not?
Sure.
At least like in the grand scheme of things. Can I tell if it's at anything like what we anything like the key that we have?
Yeah, the key in your possession does not at all look like it would fit a padlock.
Great.
And I'm starting to like walk back to you. Now, is there anything else you think you want to look at all? This would be the time to do it.
Not without being suspicious.
Well, I understand. Okay. Well, perhaps it's time to go.
Yes. Yeah, on the way out, I'll just nod, make friends. We're nice.
Well met. Thank you so much for your time.
Yes, thank you. We learned so much.
Of course, I'm glad we could be of assistance. Please feel free to come back anytime.
Will do.
Okay, well. And like, I'm assuming that we're pretty much like out into the square now. Or I'm sorry, out into the street.
Yeah, the two of you are exiting out of the legation, no issues. Make your way back up the stairs, back outside.
Okay, well, that was fruitful.
Yes, the only thing is that I feel like it's giving us more questions than answers.
Well, we know there's some internal things happening in the church, and that it does have something to do with Devacar. It's also interesting that there is a man turned abomination who said that he was taken away on a mission into the dark Devacar Woods to kill some kind of god creature, isn't it?
Yes.
That's very interesting. It's almost like perhaps a ripple was caused. Seems people trying to do the work of a god are often not doing anyone any service whatsoever. And those effects are felt far and wide.
I'm all too familiar.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
What time of day is it at this point, by the way?
At this point, I would say you're getting on to being late afternoon, early evening time.
Cool. Aggie is absolutely going to just like in passing mention to Keen, be like, I will say I would like to get to bed a little early tonight. It's been a harder day than usual.
Oh, absolutely. Though we can either go back a little early right now, or we could just take a quick walk through the graveyard in town on our way home.
I think that is a fantastic idea.
I thought you might. Well,
Okay. Two of you want to pass through the nearest graveyard on your way back?
How many graveyards are in town?
You're not certain.
All right.
I would say the one prominent one that you've seen has been over near the Sun Temple.
I kind of thought maybe that would be the right location if she knew about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hell yeah. Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay.
Yes, just 2 ghouls on the town. Perhaps we can get some flaky bread.
Ooh, flaky bread.
All right.
Mhm.
You two ghouls with your, I'll say you are able to find a little baking cart set up where you can certainly grab off some flaky bread if you wish.
Yes, I would like to make it look like we're going to have a very like goth lady picnic, just
Yeah.
strolling into this graveyard.
All right, and the
Absolutely.
two of you begin making your way back towards the Sun Temple, back towards that graveyard which you had seen previously. And when we come back from our quick break, we will let you all know what you see and find over there. Thank you all so much for sticking around so far. We will see you all back here in about 10, 15 minutes or so.
For Comic Sans.
See you then for Comic Sans. Oh, good lord. and welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us. So last we left off, the two of you were heading over towards the Sun Temple. Easy enough, you make your way and you see that very large, familiar, kind of large courtyard area with the two large domed white buildings sitting just kind of centered towards the back. Two of you walking your way in. You would know that the graveyard to this area is situated off to the right-hand side of these buildings. It's kind of got this little wooden fenced-off area with like a little open archway where you can certainly walk through if you like. You do see the familiar silhouettes and individuals of all the different priests as they're kind of coming in and out of the Sun Temple. Some of them look like they are heading out for the evening. Some of them looking like they're just now arriving to the Sun Temple, but the actions are yours. What would the two of you like to do?
Well, first off, I absolutely imagine that Keen has like one of those like really stunning, lacy goth umbrellas. Because that's what we're doing. We're going on our goth girl picnic at the cemetery with our flaky bread. And this is the same cemetery that Kovaan and I made a scene in, right?
Oh yeah, your bench is situated just a few feet from this open archway.
Beautiful. So yeah, I'm just gonna go and hobble on over to the bench and sit down on it again. So that way, yeah, if anybody's like, "Who are you? What are you doing here?" Maybe somebody recognizes and remembers me.
All right, you do see a few individuals as they're passing by. A couple of them just kind of glance in your direction, just give you kind of just a brief little nod before they continue on. Most people not paying much mind to you.
Cool.
Key in actions for you.
And I'm just gonna look around. I don't expect to necessarily find the name Tiana for a lot of reasons, but I am just trying to see if I can get any intuitive sense for something that feels like maybe there's magic there, potentially. Like maybe there is magic, or maybe there's something off about it. It's giving me vibes. I'm vibe checking the gravestones.
Give me a resolute check if you would.
Okay, that is a 3 out of, what is my resolute? 15.
3 out of 15, excellent. So you begin kind of just walking your way through this graveyard area. Now, are you sticking to kind of the cutout pathways that is in this area, or are you kind of more so walking off the path going in between the headstones themselves?
I believe that I am kind of interweaving, and the whole time I'm just kind of like slowly like weaving like some sewing needle through like one of those little cross stitch things, just kind of feeling my way through the lines of gravestones.
Okay. So you kind of begin, before you walk through this archway, you kind of center in on yourself and kind of draw on your natural gifted powers that you draw from the forests, and just kind of try to focus in on this area as you're weaving your way through, kind of sewing in, making your symbols. You get a little bit of a warm sensation as you're walking through this area, almost to the point where it gets a bit uncomfortable for you, as you get the sense that there's quite a bit of holy energy coming from this area, even from the deceased. Out in the graveyard, it's not super overbearing, but as you're kind of walking through, some gravestones definitely get off quite a bit of heat as you kind of just moving your way through. Walking through, though, you're not really seeing any names on these headstones that are popping out at you. You do see one of them, though, has the very familiar runic writing in, as you called it, Comic Sans. You see a couple names just listed, as well as a date written. And these two headstones appear to have been cared for more significantly, almost as if somebody comes to these daily to clean them and make sure they look pristine at all times. Aside from that, you're not really picking much up from this graveyard area.
I would like to do one of those tombstone etchings where you put a specific piece of paper against a tombstone and you take the pencil and you just like do that.
Okay. Do you know over one of the Comic Sans
Both of them.
tombstones? Both of them. Okay.
What were their
Excellent.
names? What were their names, Nate?
You see the name of Kara, and you see the name of another individual. This one, it's a little bit more hard to make out because though the tombstone itself is clean, the etching itself, some of the lettering has been worn away. So you just get the letters of J, A, and B with some gaps kind of in between the rest of it.
Jab,
Kara
a beautiful
and
name.
And Jap.
Jab.
You now have your Comic Sans etching on your parchment.
Delightful. But other than that, I don't see anything of particular note. Just these very well cared for graves.
These two very well cared for graves, and just the sensation of holy energy kind of radiating from beneath your feet. And you're also getting obviously quite a bit of it coming from the direction of the temple itself.
Okay.
I think Aggie is going to get up and walk on over to Keen. And just look and be like, anything interesting?
Yes, I seem to have found these ancient and powerful letters. Do you see them? His name was Jab, and her name was Kara.
Wonderful. I
Yes.
celebrate this discovery for you.
I will always remember the slab of Jab. But unfortunately, all I can feel is the intense heat of Prios among these graves. It seems that even those who have passed consecrate the ground, if you will. There's a reason they were buried here.
Of course.
Are we sure that tears fall in vain? Meant a graveyard where no tears fall in vain.
Well, where no tear falls in vain, to me that means somewhere that you are allowed to cry, somewhere where your tears do something, they mean something. Aggie's gonna go like walk over, because if I remember, there's like a really nice big tree in the middle of the graveyard. Aggie's gonna go walk on over to that tree. And this is gonna be a little extra, but Aggie's gonna go hobble over to that tree, and she's going to sit down and just kind of sit there quietly for a minute. And she's not young by any sense of the word, and she's been through some shit. And so she literally sits there and thinks about friends, colleagues, comrades that she might have lost. And she, doesn't like actively like, oh, I need to like squeeze out a tear, but like she thinks about things that are sad. That might make her cry.
Sure. So Aggie, you situate yourself beneath this tree, thinking back on all of your past work. The day back in Ndaros when the temple fell around you. And that was kind of your first introduction with Lainey. You think back to just a couple days ago when those individuals with the torches and the lanterns came to burn down the mission house, and you inadvertently caused them to drop their lanterns, not only burning them alive, but causing the flames to spread to two homes, burning them down. And you remember seeing the town guard hauling out a few bodies covered by blankets, innocent individuals who were just living their lives that unfortunately through the actions of the group lost them in those fires. And you're kind of sitting there just kind of taking it all in. And Keen, you look towards Aggie, you see that she's kind of got her head hung a bit low, and you do see tears begin to form and well up in her eyes. They kind of trickle down her cheek, falling into the soils beneath the tree.
I'll make my way over to her while sort of like chewing on my flaky bread. And then I'll sit beside her and I will start to try and do the same thing. I will have like a lot of memories of the Elven enclave essentially that I'm from, and sort of like what pushed me out and onto my travels. Try to produce tears.
And Keen, you sit there and you begin thinking back. And as you try to think back, it's almost like there's a barrier in your mind. Almost like it's trying to protect itself. But you take time to sit and really focus in. And I need you to make me a cunning check, please, if you would, Keen.
Okay. That is a 13 out of 10.
13 out of 10. Okay, no worries. You sit there and you close your eyes and you begin really trying to focus in. And it's almost like this repressed memory begins to surface in your mind. And you imagine yourself, and you're seeing yourself through a first person's perspective. You're laying on this table, moving your limbs, and though you're in this small infant form in this memory, your mind is incredibly sharp, especially being what you are. Not born naturally, but more created. Your mind is sharper than an Ambrian baby would be. And you're in this forest, and you're looking up, and you can't quite speak yet, but you hear the sounds of these elves speaking around you. And you can hear them speaking in Elvish. She's perfect. I think we may have finally come up with the perfect code for creating them. And you're in almost like this small wooden shack around you as you're kind of looking about, and you see the wooden walls, and all of a sudden you begin to hear the sounds of swords clanging, metal against metal. And you hear somebody shout, "It's Odaka. We can't let him get to her." And you feel yourself being scooped up by this elven woman as she takes you in her arms. And she flings open this back door. And you can kind of get the glimpse as you're looking back into this room of the door flinging open. And you see this tall, shadowy creature with these piercing yellow eyes step through, this long sword drawn as he just begins slaughtering elves left and right in front of you. As this woman takes you in her arms and begins running out this back door. And you look up and you can see the canopy of the Davokar forest just flashing before your eyes as she's running through the woods with you. And as she's running, it all kind of just begins to slowly fade away in the mist. And Aggie, as you're sitting there next to Keen, you can see Keen welling up with tears as well as begin trickling down her cheeks and falling onto the soil.
I'm going to not do anything too much, but I'm going to just offer my hands out to Keen for her to take and squeeze if she so likes.
I will take one of your hands.
Yes.
I think there might be more to this Balmello situation than I originally anticipated.
Why do you say that?
Didn't we learn that Odaka is the name of the changeling that Balmello is?
Yes.
And do you remember when we met Balmello, and Balmello, he had that boy with him, the one that could read auras?
Yes.
I think there might be some more problems here than I originally anticipated.
And that,
I don't even know that Odaka is really a changeling.
what do you think he would be?
Is there any way that I would have any idea what I thought that was?
Unfortunately, as you're trying to recall everything, that's all you were able to get. You're not entirely certain. You just remember the name Odaka as a name you've heard since the day you were essentially born.
I don't think that Odaka is young enough to be a changeling. Unless there's different kinds of changelings that have never been talked about.
That's curious. Can I make a cunning check? I mean, I've been around for a while. Would I know? I'm older than Keen, and if based on this, Keen is like the blueprint for changelings at now, or at least the whoever that changeling was that Odaka was trying to kill was like the blueprint. Do I know how long changelings have been around?
Give me a cunning check here to see what you can figure out.
Stunning. Oh, that's a big pile of nope. That's a 17 out of 14.
All right. I mean, changelings have been around. You don't know the specifics behind where they come from. Keen, how much information are you divulging to Aggie here?
I think I'm willing to explain it to Aggie in either hushed tones or like I'm drawing the situation for her so that we're not being too loud.
So with Keen's explanation that as a changeling, she was essentially created, not naturally born. You don't know the process behind it. It's possible that there were experimentations that went wrong in the past when trying to create changelings. For whatever reason, though, Keen was the one labeled as a perfect changeling.
How interesting.
I could be completely off base here, but I'm not sure. It's interesting though, right? That this Odaka is here, and this Odaka was linked to the happenings in the Davokar forest, to the corruption. I don't know if everyone knows about this, but the corruption is linked to the creation of changelings.
I never put that together.
It's okay. I don't think that this is a well talked about fact because, as you can imagine, there's already enough witch hunting going on.
Of course. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness. What a tangled web we are getting ourselves into. But what of our next step? Because I agree with you. I don't really know where we are meant to be. We seem to be finding a lot of information, but not taking much action. I was hoping, I look around. Do we see a mystery person who's appearing now that we've cried under a tree in a graveyard?
Give me a vigilance check if you would.
All right. Oh, God, what are these rolls right now? That is a 16 out of 10.
Oof. Looking
If I
about,
was
looking
playing
for...
D&D, I'd love them.
Oh, you'd be killing it in D&D. These rolls have been great in Mythical Melee a few days ago.
Oh my God.
But unfortunately, as you're kind of peeking around, you're not seeing any type of ghostly apparitions appearing around you. You're not seeing any of the gravestones moving in any particular way. You're not really seeing much change in this area.
And this is just kind of a side note more for Aggie, because I remember Aggie when Aggie talked to Lainey, and this is just something Kinlegelana would not have known about. Did you ever share with us the information that she told you we need to track down Balmello and kill him?
I can. Oh wait, no. From my comrade. No, I would not have told you that. Yeah.
Just checking.
Yeah, Lainey is the undead, right?
Correct. She is the undead that you have known since she joined.
Yeah. Since she wasn't undead.
Well, we haven't heard about Balmello for a while, so maybe... Actually, has anyone seen Balmello in a while?
Not to your knowledge.
Didn't that man seem to want to have every opportunity to cross paths with us?
Yes. We should make sure he's still around.
Well, what if he's just not Balmello anymore?
Goodness. Oh, no. Okay. Well, that's always a possibility. And if that's the case, then how do we find this not Balmello? Odessa.
Odaka?
Odaka.
Nate, is there any way that I think is there anything that connects Changeling Blood? Is there any way that I think I could track him?
To your knowledge, you have no direct connection with him.
Well, I suppose the best we could do is just ask around, see if anyone's seen him. I suppose Mayor Nightpitch would be the best source. Didn't he work for Mayor Nightpitch? Isn't that the whole thing? Wasn't that his whole power trippy, like, this is me, I'm powerful and I'm important, and wasn't that kind of his thing?
I mean, that seems to be most mayors' things. They get a nice house and a little bit of power, and then all of a sudden they think they own the people. But
I'm referring to Balmello. Remember, because Balmello was so sensitive about working as a main source of policing for the town.
Oh well, same concept.
You know, we do have another option to explore at some point, and that would be to go into the Devacar Woods.
Yes, it has been a while since I've ventured out there. I do believe that if we were to make that decision, we should check in with the rest of our party. And we could go see what's going on with those two witches who came into the city a few days ago. And
I sent word to their city by post.
and I take it you've heard nothing back.
Not yet, no. I'm assuming that I'll be told once we get to the inn whether or not there's been any mail for me.
Understood.
But another thing, do we want to tell our connection in the church? Like, not necessarily tell, but maybe ask questions about that Gesso B-guy person?
Ooh.
She would probably want to know that we know some information regarding Anadia's death related to this person.
I do think so. I think that's a good idea.
What should we like to do first? We have many options.
Well, we're already here, so why not go check in with our friend?
Very well, very well. I'm having trouble remembering her name. I'm normally so good at these things, but you can imagine. I've already recounted so many things today. What was her name?
Yes,
Peggy?
you've recounted a whole lot of things. Okay, let's see.
I'll give it to you. You've met her plenty of times. Lady Despa. It's the end of
Thank
it.
you. You know, that's what I kind of thought, but then it didn't sound right in my head. Right. Deceba, yes.
Deceba.
Okay. And I'm going to go and try and get a meeting with Deceba.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yep.
Okay.
I will follow.
Okay. Easy enough. You know where her office is at. You can certainly just kind of make your way in that direction if you wish. Following the stone staircase up the left-hand side, you see her familiar double doors, which are currently shut at this time. You don't see any priests standing guard outside of this area. It's just her office door.
I will knock.
Okay. You knock, and you wait a moment before you hear the familiar voice of just enter.
So I enter with Aggie. Hello, Lady Deceba.
Ah, yes, my friend, welcome back. I trust
It is
you've made
wonderful.
progress with what I've tasked you with, yes?
You could say as such. What I would ask, though, is you just give me a quick reminder of what our business was together. Can't be too careful, you understand.
Oh, of course. Calming the tensions with Sarvola. Is he safe? Is he doing okay?
Well, after the events around the mission house, Sarvola actually went missing. We do have reason to believe he is still somewhere in the town. We're still not sure exactly where that is. We have reason to believe maybe harm has befallen him. We're trying our best to follow up with that lead. But we do have some information related to Anadia that if we could get some clarity on, it might help us figure out who to look for.
Yes.
I see. And what is this new information you have?
Well, we happen to know that only a few short days ago, someone named Gelato, or Galeto, something like that, they are a fortune hunter, submitted a report about happenings in the Toad Square before the sinkhole happened. Apparently a fight broke out between Anadia and a Jessabi guy, some other priest or person within the Church of Prios.
Oh,
And
I
right, Arkle, I'm sorry.
yes,
Sorry, so
yes,
many
yes,
names.
Yes,
Between
yes.
Anadia and someone named Arkle. And the fight got heated. And Anadia apparently said something like death to...
Well, they don't know who said it because it was so loud and the report didn't know who said death to what was it,
Jessabi guy.
that guy, the just of that guy. Yes, so they don't know who said it, but somebody said death to him.
I see. Yes, well, Arkel and Anadia, they were both young and hot-headed and foolish, so it's not surprising that the two of them got into some type of argument. It would happen from time to time here at the temple, but they always kept it civil. From what I understand,
from what I heard, they did keep it civil. It was an accident. Somebody accidentally knocked over a glass and it hit a barbarian, and you can see where it went from there.
I see. Well, I can't say that I would have details about that particular incident, but if you wish to speak to Arkel, I know that he recently left the temple to return to his family's farm over in Glimmerven. It's just about a day's travel west of here. He would probably be the best option to get any details about what actually transpired that evening.
Arkel's family farm in Glimmerven. Okay.
Very well. And in regards to Sarvola, you haven't heard anything, have you? Other than Sarvola going out of town, which we do not believe is accurate?
Can't say that I have. Nothing about Sarvola particularly, but it would seem that somebody has hired more freelance individuals to locate him. I fear it may be for less than desirable reasons. I fear he's in quite a bit of danger at this point.
Yes, I believe so.
But hopefully his hiding spot is well hidden.
Well, it seems to be so far. I'm sure they would want to make a public exhibition of him if they find him.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if they can go that far. I mean, Nightpitch wouldn't dare tolerate that, but I do fear if the wrong individuals find him first, well, I don't want to even think about what will happen to the man.
Absolutely, and we will keep trying our best. And one more question. Has anyone heard anything about the location of the Black Cloaks recently?
I mean, they come and go through the Sun Temple. Are you looking for anyone in particular?
Yes. Now I know we've discussed Balmello before, and we learned Balmello is not currently alive, but there was one calling himself Balmello. Tallest one. Very broad-shouldered. Has that one been seen?
I can't say he has been recently, no.
Okay, thank you. We'll keep doing our best to try and find Sarvola. Is there any other information you think we should have?
And at this time, not to my knowledge. I mean, have you spoken with the veterans already? Cargo and Roya, they seem to have the biggest issue with him, but again, they also hold quite a bit of influence. But
attempts are being made.
I see.
Yes,
I know they can be a bit stubborn.
we did not get into fights with the veterans. How's that?
Probably the best move. If you had, I'm sure you two would no longer be here.
No, any fights would be unintentional, but they didn't want to punch us.
Suppose that's the best we could hope for right now.
Yes. Which, from my understanding, it doesn't mean that we're friendly, because from what I saw, they do enjoy punching their friends. But it's the position I'd rather be in.
Understood. Well, if there's nothing else I can help you with, I'm quite busy at this time.
Of course.
She kind of just gestures over to her door.
Very well. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Best of luck.
And I suppose we'll leave unless you want to do anything, Aggie.
The only thing I'm gonna question is the abomination while we're here.
Oh, yes, that poor soul. He, unfortunately, the corruption proved to be too strong for him, and we had to use some extreme measures to dispatch of him. But the Lord Prios has brought him home.
Did he say anything at the end?
Aside from his regular ramblings about stabbing a god to death in the forests, now he got to a point where you couldn't really comprehend anything that he was spewing.
Very well. Aggie?
Yes. I'm just gonna hobble on out. Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you for assisting me with these matters.
You got a friend in me.
Is there any way that while we're leaving this place, I can maybe collect some flowers or some like blades of grass in that cemetery where it felt really, really warm with like the power of Prios, and I can just like bottle them up for later?
Oh, baby.
Absolutely, you can do that.
Or I can look. I never get to use this. Can I use my green thumb boon? And yeah, I've got a mystical connection to all growing things, and I've got a bonus on tests related to challenges in the wilds and plants, such as finding food and shelter and all of this other shit. And it applies to alchemy tests too. Can I look for good things? Get the most magical of the plants.
So yeah, you're essentially trying to look for the most concentrated section of holy energy coming from this area.
Yeah, and also if there's any good medical herbs that are just there, I'd be down to pick them up.
Sure, go ahead and give me a check here with your green thumb boon.
Yay! That's a 5 out of 17.
5 out of 17. Excellent. So as you're kind of walking through the cemetery, doing one more final pass, Keen, you're easily able enough to kind of clip up some grass clippings and some flower petals. Aggie, you're not really seeing any herbs that have healing properties in this area. But as you're trying to kind of find the most concentrated area of magical energy, you can see where Keen is kind of picking at some grass and flowers. And you do see what appears to be a single daisy that as you kind of approach it, you're kind of studying it. Keen, you get quite a bit of heat off of it. Aggie, you're also kind of seeing a bit and feeling a bit of the same warmth coming off of this one flower.
If I put my hand down to pick it, is it hot?
It's the stem itself is very, very warm, but not to the point where it's gonna burn you or anything.
I will pick it.
Okay. Easy enough. You pluck the flower, and you now have this daisy that appears to be giving off quite a bit of holy energy from it.
And I will put it in one of my little vials.
Okay. Done and done.
Interesting.
Very well then. We have a lot to do, I suppose.
Always.
All right. Well, we have many, many new things to consider. We have Odaka, obviously. We have Arko and the Jessabai situation, or just a gay boy, whatever his name was. And then
Just a gay boy?
I guess you could say that, yes. And then we have the well. I do probably believe it was where the sinkhole was. We could always go into the Darkavor Woods and figure out what might be in there.
Yes, I do believe it's time for us to start looking beyond. But also, I will say, I do wonder if we should try going back down into the sinkhole. I have the same worry that you do now that you've brought it up of, have we been doing enough? Are we moving fast enough?
How will we get down without Laerke?
That is a fantastic question. I do not know.
Well, can't be the worst idea.
What time is it now at this point, Nate?
At this point, you're going on into probably the evening time, 6, 7 o'clock at night.
Cool. Yeah, he's gonna look at the setting sun and just be like, well, I would definitely not want to do that without our party. And I did mention earlier that I was hoping to go to sleep a little bit earlier today. It's been
yeah, it's
rough.
true. It's true.
So how do you feel about us calling it a night?
I suppose it couldn't hurt. We could have some tea. Maybe we could, either steam a nice kettle over the fire. Maybe we could even just put the whole cup into the fire and then see how that warms the water first.
In my experience, it works best with a kettle, but it depends on your cup.
Don't you think some things are just best forged in flame?
I have a feeling you're no longer talking about tea.
Well, perhaps not, but I still think we should have some tonight. Maybe some calming herb tea.
Yes. I that is something that I'm interested in. We can drink other things another night. But tonight,
Indeed.
Tonight we sit by the fire in the tavern and drink tea.
We shall. Maybe even get some mail. Maybe my mail from Carvosti has come in.
Oh, we shall cross our fingers.
Okay. So heading back to the Rose Garden Inn for the evening, making your way back over to that familiar lobby, you see the young Ambrian woman kind of situated behind the desk as she kind of looks up and, yes, welcome. Oh, it's just you two. You know your way around at this point. Just holler if you need anything.
Oh, 2 teas, some wonderful light herbal tea, and a stew.
Stew, yes, stew.
And 2 stews.
2 light herbal teas and 2 stews coming right up for you.
And we will be over by the fire, if you wouldn't mind going and setting it down over there.
Not a problem.
Thank you.
You see her kind of disappear over towards the kitchen area. This little lobby she goes through, come double doors back towards where you've seen other servers coming in and out. You have 2 open seats over by the fire, as well as kind of this large rectangular coffee table. So
Very nice.
Sitting down. A few moments go by, the server brings out your stew, your tea. They kind of stand there holding their hand out, just kind of awkwardly in silence, just
Oh, is I mean, how? What's the total?
Uh, uh, two shillings.
Right. I give 3.
Much appreciated, miss. He kind of shoves the coin into his apron and disappears back behind the double doors.
I look at my coin purse and I'm just like, "Ugh, I'm going to need to sell some potions soon.
Yes, I'm sure. Aggie, have you ever heard of tea leaf reading?
I do believe I have actually had one of those. It wasn't here, but I believe it was somewhere in Davokar.
You've been to Devacar.
Oh, yes, once or twice. I
Oh.
mean, look, we go all over. I mean, gesturing outside to where we know the cart is. Wait, no. Oh my God, it's been so long. What's my fucking moose's name? Horse's
Sum.
name? Sum Sum. Thank you.
It's just moves backwards.
Ah, yes. Sum Sum. God bless. Yes, Sum Sum and I have been many places. I've learned my craft all over, and who better to learn the secrets of herbal medicine than those who live amongst the leaves?
I think Kovaan would have loved to have been here to hear that.
Hmm.
Yes.
We will have to make sure to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Aggie's just gonna sit there and enjoy her tea. She's having a chill night. She needs it.
And I'll sip at my tea, but I am intending to read what the leaves say at the end.
Okay. Two of you sit there sipping your tea, enjoying your dinners for the evening. Keen, you begin to get towards the bottom of your cup. Go ahead and give me a resolute check, if you would, to see if the leaves tell you anything specific.
6 out of 15. I'm very resolute.
6 out of 15. Okay. As you're kind of looking down into the bottom of your cup, seeing if the leaves give you any type of insight, you get almost the sense of dread coming from these leaves. You get the sense that there is something at work, something very dark, something of Davokar. A creature being awoken.
Hmm.
What that creature is, you're not entirely certain. But you also get just the same vision of a well.
Well, I suppose we'll have to explore this tomorrow.
Yes. I'm gonna go ahead and finish my tea, and I wasn't I didn't really care about the leaf reading, but I finish off the tea and I go ahead and hand it to Keen and just be like, "Is there anything that you can see in here?"
Is there anything I can see in there?
Give me another resolute check, if you would, Keen.
Okay. Is that an 8 or a 3? It's an 8. That is an 8 out of 15.
An 8 out of 15. As you look in Aggie's cup, you get the sense of the past repeating itself. You get the sense of old connections coming back, friendships being broken, but not quite reading any type of specifics aside from that coming out of it.
Well,
Do you tell Aggie?
Aggie, I believe I see a sense of the past, perhaps your past, I don't really know, repeating itself. Maybe old connections coming back, friendship being broken. Nothing terribly specific, and hopefully nothing related to Laerke. Maybe something even bigger.
Understood. Yeah. Aggie has a visibly displeased look on her face that you can tell she's trying to hide, but not doing a very good job at.
Suppose the tea was bitter.
Just a bit.
Hmm.
And Aggie's just going to she's going to gingerly stand up, grab whatever's left of her bowl, and she's just going to be like, I think I will have the remainder of my meal in my room tonight.
Very well.
I do not mean to be rude or leave you alone, but I think I just need to have some time to reflect.
Of course. Even being alone is often just an illusion.
And Aggie's just gonna hobble her way on upstairs with her cane in one hand, her stew in the other.
Okay. Making your way back up. Key in actions
Yeah.
for you as Aggie is left, heading back up to her room.
So I'm considering going up to my room, but I am going to stop by the desk. Excuse me, was there any mail for me recently?
One moment, she begins shuffling through some different parchments, and you see she has some envelopes in her hand. She's kind of thumbing through. Your name one more time. I'm sorry.
Kinlegelana.
Kinlegelana. Nothing here. And she goes to another pile. I'm sorry, I don't see anything coming through for you. Were you expecting something?
I am expecting something, but I'm sure it's just taking its time.
I see. But which room are you in? I can make sure that if something does come for you, you can have it delivered straight to your room.
Absolutely. And I'm going to give her my room number, which I do not know.
Okay, excellent. All right, and she marks down room 3. And once it comes through, I will make sure to have this hand delivered up as soon as possible.
Thank you so much.
Of course, of course. Oh, is there anything else?
No, thank you. Have a very nice night.
You as well. Thank you. All right. Keen, anything else you'd like to do, or are you retiring to your room as well for the evening?
I'm going to retire to my room for the evening.
Okay.
But I definitely don't think I'm going straight to bed. I think I'm probably just going to do ritual stuff for the rest of the night. Some R&R.
Okay. A little bit of R&R. Aggie, you make your way up to your room, opening the door. It's completely empty in here, aside from your normal furniture. Anything in particular you would like to do?
Aggie's just going to put the bowl of stew on her nightstand, take out the letter from her colleague, sit on the bed, read it, put it away, and go to sleep.
Okay. Aggie passed out peacefully in your room. Keen,
She ain't passed out peacefully.
passed out in your room, at least.
Yeah.
Keen, anything specific with your rites and rituals that you are doing? Are you trying to see anything, gauge anything specifically, or are you just kind of honing in on your magic drawing on the forest?
I'm going to attempt to hone in more on whatever it was I was seeing, and I'm going to swallow one of the blades of grass of Krios.
Okay, you're swallowing a bit of holy energy.
That's a great idea.
Keen, I need you to roll me a d4 if you would.
Yep. That is a 2.
A 2, okay, you take 2 points of holy energy damage.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of sit there swallowing in on this blade of grass. And you sit there, and I will let you decide what specific moment are you looking for in your mind right now.
I'm trying to search for the outcome of that scene, the final outcome, and sort of getting a sense for whether or not anything really came of that, or whether or not she got away safely.
Okay. You swallow this blade of grass and you sit there and you hone in back on that memory. You see this individual stepping through once more, sword in hand, cutting down elves left and right. As the canopy kind of reappears around you, and you look up and you see the face of this elven woman. From what you can tell, she's very young. Her blonde hair pulled into just a tight ponytail. Her eyes, this deep, this beautiful ocean blue color. Her face just spotted in freckles. And she kind of looks down at you as she's carrying you in her arms, and she just smiles. We'll make it, Keen. It'll be all right. And she kind of turns back, and as she turns, you get a glimpse of the individual you presume to be Odaka, as he steps out that back door, looking towards you and looking towards this woman. And he begins charging as quickly as he can, running towards the two of you through the forest. You can hear the sounds of elven men shouting left and right. And as you're looking up into the canopies, you can see that there's a few of them situated in the trees, just firing arrows down towards Odaka. You see a couple of them hit as he just grabs them and snaps them off his body, throwing them off into the distance. She continues running with you to the point where she turns back, and you can see now that there are multiple elves on the ground surrounding Odaka, their weapons drawn as they are slashing away towards this individual, trying to cut into him, trying to cut him down. But Odaka appears to just overpower them left and right. But it seems that they bought you enough time. As this memory fades away, a new one opens up, and it is just you and this woman in the middle of the woods, situated around a campfire. She looks towards you. I promise you, Keen, I'll find you someone to keep you safe. I think we should be getting close to them now. The green witches of the woods. And from there, the memory fades once more.
It was green what of the woods?
The green witches.
That's one of Kovan's clan, right?
Mm-hmm. That is Kovan's coven.
Yeah, and I assume after that vision, like, I sputter up some blood, and then I take the health potion in my bag.
Okay, easy enough. Taking that health potion, go ahead and roll me 1d4 once again.
4.
Okay, you heal back up those 2 hit points as the potion definitely burns going down, mixing in with kind of the open cuts that are left in your throat from the holy energy that you willingly took in. You're kind of sitting there just in this heat, this sweat, but you eventually recenter yourself. Very uncomfortable, but fully healed and alive still. You hear Nrobso just peacefully snoring away behind you as he is still passed out.
I feel like I'm just like looking down at like the cloth that has like some of my blood on it. And I just sigh. Well, sometimes you have to drink poison to figure out what it looks like when it comes up. I go to bed.
You go to bed, falling asleep. And when we come back, we will start you all off fully rested. You have multiple pathways ahead of you, multiple leads to follow. I'm curious to see which direction you all decide to go in our next session.
We're going to try to make half of that decision in the Discord before the session, because otherwise we're not going to make a choice until 5 more weeks from now.
Yep, I will say that you all rest up, and where we start out next is you will all be together, perhaps in the lobby, in each other's company, enjoying a morning breakfast of some kind, where we can all regroup. So you can certainly use this time to use that chat to make your next decisions. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Super appreciate it. We'll see you back here hopefully 2 weeks, same time, same place. Let's go ahead and reintroduce our players. This time, shout yourselves out, throw out your socials where people can find you, any upcoming projects. Let's go ahead and start off with Coral this time, please.
Hi, my name is Coral Reefer. You can find me on the Twitches at twitch.tv Queer Venture Time, or on Twitter at Q Venture Time, because Queer Venture Time was too many characters. But yeah, we are a chaotic, queer, community-focused channel. Trying to get as much alliteration in there as possible. And yeah, we'd love to hang out with you and just vibe. Right now we're super into Stardew Valley, but it's always just, we're just hanging. We're having a good time.
Awesome. Love it. Let's throw over to Kelsey, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelsey. You can find me on social media under Tombs and Tomes. I love making new friends and talking about tabletop role-playing games and books.
Awesome. And just want to shout out our other players that we were missing today. We have the wonderful Christine. You can find her at Slumberjane all over the socials, as well as on Twitch. We also have our wonderful resident Goblin Man, Nrobso, aka the Royal Tut, at Royalty No Y across all the socials. Very entertaining dude. I think he does Twitch stream from time to time too, so follow him, check him out. We are also missing the lovely Keith. You can find him at I Am Not Kevin Bacon on the Instagram, as well as at Aloha Oi 808 all over the socials. And my name is Nate. You can find me all over the socials, Instagram, Twitch, and now Twitter for some fucking reason, at nride93. I'm your friendly internet DM GM. You can catch me streaming here with the Initiative Order, just jamming through a bunch of various video games on my Twitch channel. Come hang out, vibe, watch me suck at games if you want. You know, it's a good time. You can also catch me this Saturday over on Keith's Twitch channel, Aloha Oi 808, where we are doing a charity stream of D&D for Extra Life. Going to be a special one-shot. I've got a ton of amazing players that I'm super intimidated by and also super excited to run a game for. So check that out. We've got a couple of really cool giveaways. One from Adventure Dice. They're giving away a 3-month dice subscription to any to a lucky donor. We also have a special giveaway from Sugar Bee Dice. Not entirely certain what they're giving away yet. Probably dice of some sort, I would imagine. But if you come by and donate, you will be entered in for a chance to win one of those amazing items. And plus, you'll be donating to Extra Life, which is a wonderful, wonderful cause. So check that out. That'll be this Saturday, 5 p.m. PST at twitch.tv/Aloha Oi 808. And before we go, I want to shout out our wonderful sponsors of the channel here at the Initiative Order. Starting off with our friends over at Session Zero Clothing. They create some really cool, badass TTRPG inspired streetwear. If you use code, I believe it's initiative at checkout. Use code ORDER, ORDER at checkout. You can get 15% off your purchase through them. We also have our wonderful friends over at Norse Foundry. They craft some amazing, amazing dice. If you use code TIO followed by the number 15 at checkout, you can get 15% off your purchase through them. And we've got our wonderful friends over at Mithril Armory. They create some awesome TTRPG accessories. They created the foldable 1020s. If you use code INITIATIVE, you get 10% off your purchase through their website. And last but certainly not least, the wonderful Eldritch being known as Terran, aka Valrook, aka Umbral Oculus Dice. If you use code INITIATIVE, you can get 10% off a full dice set through her website, Umbral Oculus Dice. And speaking of Terran, she is also our wonderful game master for Dune, and they're having their series finale coming up next at 4 p.m. Pacific time here on the Initiative Order. So stick around, check that out. You're not going to want to miss it. It's such a cool show. Aside from that, I think that's everything we got going on. So thank you all so much for joining us today. Until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you all in the next adventure. Have a wonderful day, y'all.